Welcome to the Digital Nomad Cafe podcast, the show where we discuss what it takes to create a sustainable long-term online business in today's fast-moving environment. We talk with industry experts and freelancers alike to find out what it takes to build and manage a location-independent business.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Digital Nomad Cafe podcast. In today's episode, I talk with RJ Macalanda and we discuss building a business using Merchant by Amazon, which is where you upload your designs into Amazon and Amazon essentially does a print-on-demand service. So we talk about how he built this business, the strategies that he used to scale it, and also how he expanded into new markets outside of the United States with the Merchant by Amazon program. This is a very interesting episode if you're interested in e-commerce, drop shipping, and topics related to a low barrier to entry digital nomad e-commerce online business model. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to follow us on iTunes, Spotify, and at digitalnomadcafe.com. RJ, welcome to the show and thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Adam. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, so why don't you give us a little bit of an introduction to yourself, first of all, and then we'll kind of explore Merchant by Amazon.
Sure, sounds good. So I am from Texas, and I'm 24 years old. My birthday's coming up, actually, but I've been a digital nomad for around 2 years now, and it kind of started how most people go and find their digital nomad life. So I was working corporate. I quit my job, and then I basically decided that I need to find something the exact opposite lifestyle of what I was currently living. So I was an insurance broker. I was working around, I'd say 80 hours a week on average. And I was doing, Saturdays and Sundays and waking up at like 5 a.m., going to bed at 11 sometimes. And I was running around town basically trying to find these sales when I was doing insurance, and I was falling asleep at the wheel. And it wasn't until like the third time that I just dozed off while I was driving that I just kind of clicked, where I decided that it's not worth it to get in a car crash for my boss. And I'm like, I'm not putting in the effort that I'm going to make someone else rich. And I just all of a sudden just clicked. And so I started to just kind of have a mental shift where I need to find something different, something that's like aligns with who I want to be. And I start how everyone else starts. How to make money online on YouTube or Google, right?
I wonder who's number one for that now.
I have no idea, but I'm sure it's an expensive keyword to find. But so I just kind of dove in and, I found everything, and I landed on digital nomads. I said, wow, there are people traveling while working online. That is crazy. And so I just kept searching, going down the rabbit hole until I found the Nomad Summit in Chiang Mai. I was like, wow, there's like the capital of the world of nomads. I want to go to this conference. And so I set that as my date of like, okay, I'm going to quit my job here, and then I'm going to go and go to Thailand. And the business model that I aligned with the most was actually an app agency. And so I partnered with some people, and we were going to start this agency. And I was going to go to Thailand, meet all these developers and partner with them, get their contracts, bring them back to the States, and then do a whole bunch of stuff. So I quit my job, and then I kind of like, oh man, this is really scary, and kind of figured it out. And then it wasn't a week before going to Thailand, I was still having like cold feet. And I was like, do I really want to do this? And I was like, okay, this ticket's like, $1,000. Should I just cancel it? And it was up until last week until I just went and I just did it. And going to that conference, I was like, wow, these people are actually living, digital nomad life. And I learned all of their business models, and everything was just so shiny in Chiang Mai. And just kind of,
yeah, I mean, I lived there for a time myself. There's a lot of people who do drop shipping and e-commerce and SEO over there, And I mean, there is people who do a little bit of everything, but it's definitely a hotspot for people doing drop shipping and yeah, I mean, all sorts of freelancers. It's a popular hub. It's probably too popular now because everybody's everywhere you go. It's just full of people. But I was there in 2013, so yeah. It feels like a lifetime. You were probably still in school, like you were probably only like 16 or 17.
It's all good.
So But that's sweet. So you went over there, and I guess you attended the Nomad Summit, and I guess you were there to maybe to get ideas. Was it to, like, what is the business model I want to align with, and that's a lot of, you meet a lot of interesting people. You hear, that's what I love about it, and that's genuinely where this podcast came from. Was like having those conversations when I was away and traveling in places like that, and meeting all these interesting people. I wanted to translate it to how can I do it now, and for me, it was a podcast as a medium. So that's how I kind of, that's my mentality anyway behind why I started all this. So can you tell us when how you became exposed to the idea that you then pursued? Like, was it a particular person? Was it a talk, or did how did it
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah. So it was on the Millionaire Fastlane forum. That's Millionaire Fastlane is a book, and they have this website where people just kind of share all their business models and like ideas and bounce things off. Some of it's really helpful, some of it's very transparent, and then some of it's like, I don't know, it's kind of sketch. But yeah, there's this kid. He was like 16 years old or something, and made $40,000 per transaction, basically drop shipping apps, kind of. And I said, that's a pretty easy business model. It seems it's not, but
Yeah, but from the outside looking in, it's like, he's 16, I could do that.
yeah. But that was the initial spark. Like that was the initial person that was like, I'm a younger kid, and so that guy's even younger. I can do that too. It was very discouraging looking at people that were way older than me, and like they've already established themselves, and I just didn't find that younger crowd. But until I found that one kid, that's when it was like, all right, this is a possibility.
For sure. And I mean, comparison is the thief of joy. That's a very famous saying and quote. And it's very true, especially in the online business community. Like, people who've got full teams behind them, and they don't, like, most people don't share the true financials. So you see all this hoorah about, I made, $1 million drop shipping, or I made $100,000 on my last launch. And it's like, yeah, but you're not actually showing, like, how much did it cost? Like, what did you spend on ads? What was the profit after you take away your tax? Like, what are you left over with? Like, very few people reveal like the full, warts and all. So so like, you kind of have to navigate it yourself. Like, typically you find somebody you trust, you might buy their course, and you kind of follow their business model. That seems to be what people do, and sometimes you screw up or you buy the wrong course.
Yeah, exactly. It's so hard to navigate. It's like you watch one Gary Vee video, and then all of a sudden you're getting all these drop shipping ads, and it's like super hyped up guys that are like, I just made $1 million in 1 hour. And oh man, I hate that. Because when you actually meet just really real people in Chiang Mai or like on the street, it's like, oh yeah, just casually making, 40K a month, just doing this. Oh, here's my model. And then that's the way like I like to do it. I don't like to go through all their funnels and everything. It's like I feel it's kind of toxic, and it kind of shies away from actually living a digital nomad life.
Yeah, and I think as well, those people have, they have teams. They've built it over time. I discussed this in depth with a Johnny FD in a previous episode. We had a really good episode where he was talking about essentially how he had used, I believe it's called the Anton method, and that type of drop shipping, which is a different model. A lot of people who start drop shipping, drop ship stuff off AliExpress, use Shopify, hire a VA to manage the orders, use Facebook ads. Like, that's the very traditional dropshipping model, and it's typically how a lot of people enter that side of things, and how they sell it, I guess. Whereas this was a different model. It was around building a legitimate business in terms of, you have suppliers and you list their products on your website. It's not your typical gadget off AliExpress to a Shopify store. So it was interesting, and it was and those are business models that can be sold. It's very difficult to sell. Like, I'm very interested in like building websites to sell. Like, that's the business model I find most fascinating, to be honest with you. And like, a lot of these guys who are building drop shipping stores using AliExpress and then looking to sell them, like, they're just not worth as much as a legitimate store that's built, you know what I mean? Like, that you can hand over, here's my suppliers, this is the PPC we do. It's consistent. It's not reliant on the next flashy gizmo and gadget that you can do a cool Facebook ad for. So Totally, man. And so with Merchant by Amazon, so can you talk a little bit about, I guess, what that is and how you got started on it?
Yeah. So after that conference, I basically like tried everything, tried the app stuff, and then that I found that I was still working 80 hours a week running around Texas trying to get leads. So it wasn't a lifestyle change at all, and so I let the partners deal with the apps, and then went to do my own stuff and still try to figure out how to make money. So I tried everyone's courses that I met in Chiang Mai. I tried all these different models, and some of them I just found that it just didn't click with me. Like eBay drop shipping, I didn't like that at all. I tried affiliate marketing. I tried. I didn't want to get an Amazon FBA. That kind of was too high of a risk tolerance. But it wasn't until I was taking the Shopify course, and I was 6 months in, and my parents were yelling at me every day, basically like get a job and like all this stuff. And I got this email, and it said, "Hey, you've been accepted to Merch by Amazon." And I clicked on it and said, "What is that? Is this a scam?" And it wasn't until it was an official link by Amazon. I was like, "Oh, I don't remember signing up for this." So I must have signed up like right when I started this digital nomad journey. And it takes 6 months to a year, like back in the day, to get accepted to the program. So I got this email, I looked it up, and I said, okay, this is a legitimate business. And I went in, and I saw the model, and I said, wow, I like this a lot. So I had a t-shirt company in college, and I had like a full, press and everything, and I had to do like all the work basically. This cuts out all of the middleman stuff. So Merch by Amazon, you basically upload artwork, you set your descriptions, your price, and then it's a full listing on Amazon. Like it looks like every other listing. So Amazon, they take your artwork when an order is placed, and then they print it, they ship it, they do the customer service, and then all you do is they just send you the check at the end of the month. And yeah, it's just getting the royalties.
You make awesome designs and let them take care of the rest. So it's very similar to, so it's essentially Printful, which is the Shopify app. Same thing, but Amazon's own version of it. I knew that they did print on demand books. I know that they will literally, if you create a like a physical book, they will print it for you, literally on demand as well, I believe. But okay, so those original designs that you uploaded and you got started with, like, were they your own designs, or did you hire a freelancer to make them up? Like,
So a mix. The way it works is Amazon's on a tier system. So you start at tier 10. It's kind of like eBay's tier system, where you need to sell about 80% of your tier number. So let's say tier 10, that's what you start with. You need to sell 10 shirts and then 8 designs live. So in order to get a higher number, you need to just keep selling and then keep uploading. And I looked at that as big business from day one. So I thought to myself, I was like, I need to upload 200 shirts a day at some point in this business. How do I make that transition as fast as possible? And so it's not by doing designs by myself. I'm not a designer, and I know I can't physically design 200 shirts a day if I am a good designer. So day one, I looked at it. I was like, how do I get to this spot of where I want to be as fast as possible? I need to hire designers. I need a team. I need to get all this put in place. And it was easy to do that because I found that you can get designers from $1 to $4 per design, and you don't pay them royalties afterwards. You get all of the rights, and it's an original artwork. And so I said, yeah, let's go in. Because at that time, if you're making 20, like you sell a shirt for $20, you're keeping 7. And so if you're buying a shirt design for $350, you make, profit on sale 1. So that was a no-brainer. Like, I'm going to put in, a bunch of money, and then X amount of money afterwards will come out. So yeah, that's how I started out.
and it's a lot, it's different to the Amazon FBA model, which is a more, maybe a more familiar model with different people, but how that one works is you have to buy the stock up front and then send it to Amazon, and whether it sells or not, you still I still have stuff in my shed from a failed a failed Amazon FBA attempt. From I bought a ton of stock from China. But I mean, look, you know what I mean? This is the name of the game. And like you were saying, you tried a couple of different methods. You found what you liked and what worked for you, what's your risk tolerance, but also, you have to be realistic. Like what is the, how much you actually able to invest in your business idea. Like if you want to go drop shipping and you got no money for ads, like you're wasting your time. Forget about it. Like just forget about it. And it's the same here. Like if you wanted to go into an Amazon business model, which I mean, it's very exciting because Amazon is a marketplace already. The people are there. It's the same as eBay. Like that's why these business models work. Like they've already built the marketplace, and you put a product within that marketplace, and you try and make sales and catch eyes. So with regards to the products after you've uploaded them and everything, did you do Amazon PPC to help drive sales, or how did that work?
Okay, so I'll take you through the whole history of like how I try to get sales. I really grinded it out in the beginning. Like I tried to fine tune my process as good as it could get. And that was through like trying to get out of those first tiers. I was posting on Facebook, like on my Instagram, talking to all my friends. No one was buying, and I was like, oh God, what did I get myself into? Like these are good designs and no one's buying these. What? And then it wasn't until day 3 that I uploaded a design, and then it sold. And I was like, wait, this design I didn't put on my Facebook. I didn't advertise this one. Whoa, it's organic. And man, I made like my $2 or something like that on my first sale. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. And that was my first online dollar after like 6 months of trying to figure out this stuff. And so that felt like a million right there. But I then like went in. I was like, okay, like here's the PPC, AMS, Amazon Marketing Services. Let me try that. And I dabbled a little bit into it. I tried Facebook ads. I lost money on Facebook ads, and then I found that everything it really is organic. So I didn't put any money into advertising until I found a product that was like selling maybe 20 shirts a month or something like that. Then I'll start feeding it juice, because then I understand that this product sells based on design and keywords. If I just bump that up, try to boost it, then maybe it'll sell even more. I'm not going to put money into something that I haven't tested and I know it doesn't work organically. So yeah, it's all organic, man. And it's been pretty organic since day one.
Yeah, I mean, you can do Amazon essentially in a roundabout way is a search engine within itself, isn't it? You know what I mean? So like the SEO principles apply in terms of keywords, in terms of page optimization. Like there is a lot of things you can do. Like I said, I dare say I tried and failed at Amazon FBA once upon a time, but I learned a lot about doing the process, everything from buying stuff from China, importing, listing, doing the FBA, putting it on. But then it comes down to your on page. It's like keywords in the title, trying to entice people to add it to their cart, essentially. You know what I mean? So is that similar to what you would do? You to sell the benefits in the bullets of the listings? Is that how you approach it?
Yeah, it's all just keywords, really. And it's a lot more secure than FBA because you're already given Amazon Prime status, and no one can snipe your listings.
Oh yeah, believe me. Amazon FBA, I've seen people lose quite substantial businesses overnight. Because look, I mean, we won't get into FBA. It's not about FBA, but it's like it's an interesting business model and it works for some people. But look, you've got people nipping at your heels from every angle, and the more money to be made in that niche, the more aggressive people are going to be, leaving negative reviews on listings, doing all sorts of stuff, especially supplements. From what I've seen, people who went
And that's one listing. It's like you've spent 5K on this crate, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, people are sniping me from left and right. But that's just one listing, and then I can put up 4,000 listings. So it's like I don't have to spend all that money and time and effort to go into FBA. But yeah, that's why I like merch.
No, this is awesome, and just to elaborate on that a little bit, purely because I don't understand. So when you were saying you upload a design and it can create multiple listings, is that across different styles of clothing? Is that how that works?
Okay, so for one product listing, you can have one type. So like t-shirt, hoodie, long sleeve, pop socket, you name it. So that's that. You only pick one, and then you pick one marketplace. So UK, Germany, or the States. Um, and then you can choose up to 5 colors for that, and then you submit that. So that's one listing. And then I can go back again, and then I can change anything I want in there. So what if I want a long sleeve instead? I can have another listing with a long sleeve. What if I want to put it into Germany? That's another listing. So you can just, have one design, but have, 20 listings of every single variation if you want.
Oh, that's cool. And then that allows you to scale, I guess, quickly. And it doesn't cost you for these listings. Cost the cost is in time essentially to make the listings, which is something that could be outsourced. I imagine, creating a standard operating procedure. You could easily template that out and hire somebody if you wanted to. But if you were being, like you're saying, if you're being cost conscious, which it sounds like you very much are, you're very smart with your money. You were very cautious. You weren't just throwing it to the wind and trying all sorts of things. You were like validating products before you would put money into ads. You weren't just throwing all your profit at ads. So it sounds like you're being very intelligent about how you approach this.
It's all validation. You have to validate what shirt idea, you have to validate like what colors are going to work and what pricing structure. And yeah, you just kind of have to look at everything.
And did you hire people at any point to help you, or did you do it, one man band?
Yeah, so I hired designers day one. That was the most important part because I know that was my weakest link. It's like I know I can't physically design these things, and I know I'm not as artistically inclined as like some kid in the Philippines with like 20 years Photoshop experience. And that's going to be way cheaper than I can produce time wise. So I hired a designer team day one, and I've been through over about, I'd say, 900 designer profiles screening the cheapest and the most quality designers. Um, and then also, I've hired friends to do research for me. I've hired some uploaders before. Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, so just I guess the manual task, and like you're saying, from day one, accepting the fact that you're not a designer and that there's other people more qualified for it. And when you go to places like the Philippines, exactly like you're saying, you can get guys and girls who've been doing Photoshop for 10 years who are shit hot at it, and better than maybe you would be in after a couple of years, and you can hire them out the gate at good rates, and get those designs up. And just speaking to the design, so you mentioned they're researching the designs. Is this something that's quite dynamic and like based on what's happening in the world, or in your country, you would base designs on that? So I mean, I would imagine something like Trump or something be in America being just like one scenario of where it might be right now. Brexit in Germany, so stuff around Brexit in Germany. Like, is it dynamic in that you're creating designs based around current events? Would
Yeah. So basically, how do I find my designs? Um, it's a little bit of everything. So in the beginning, I did a whole bunch of like where am I going to find these designs, and like how am I going to keep this consistent? And it was a lot of like looking at bumper stickers, going to like actual stores and looking at what's selling on the racks, going to other online T-shirt platforms and seeing what's selling there, and just collecting ideas of what's hot, what's trending. And through like all these merch forums, I found this website called merchinformer.com, and I did some research and I said, okay, this is basically a Amazon scanner where it takes all of the hot listings on Amazon for just t-shirts alone and tells you what's selling. The BSRs, bestsellers rank, so it tells you like how much it's selling, the price it is, the description. It shows you the actual image of the shirt, and so it has everything. It's saying like, hey, this shirt is hot. and that says, "Hey, make that because that's trending. Let me jump on this trend." And so I made basically anything and anything I could.
Awesome. That's it's clever, I guess, but it's data based approach. You know, you're looking at it's same as with I guess my only comparison with Amazon, I keep circling back to FBA, but you would use Jungle Scout, which gives you an idea of the number of sales and listings and whether or not it was a good market to go into. But you weren't just going in blind, making pretty pictures and being like, oh, why isn't this selling? It was like, oh, no, but legit, like, that's why it worked, I guess. You weren't just, I'm not disrespecting any designers, but like, maybe somebody's making designs and it's personal designs and they're uploading them and they're wondering why it's not selling. This is different. This was like
The struggling
yeah, the
artist.
struggling artist.
Kinda.
It's hard, I have friends who's musicians. My sister's fiance is a musician. It's hard being an artist, but the what you were doing here is, you were researching what was selling and then making, designs around what's hot and what's trendy and what people are looking for, and passionate about. I imagine a lot to what you're doing is, something I want to wear on my chest or on my back. Like it's passion focused. You know what I mean? So things that inspire emotion in people. Vegans come to mind, maybe. Like just things that strikes emotion in people.
There's a hobby for everyone. So, like, for example, I really like fishing. I want to be a professional fisherman one day, and I made fishing shirts. And I know those keywords about fishing that other people don't know. And so that's really how to find your angle into this. If you don't have all these research methods, it's doing what you like.
That's awesome. And I seen your your profile photo. You do have a lot of photos up about fishing, so clearly it's something you're into. So that's sweet,
Yeah.
man. That's sweet. And outside of the Merchant by Amazon, have you any other business models that you're following?
Like, am I working on anything else?
Yeah, I guess outside of the Merchant by Amazon, are you working on anything else?
Yeah. So I'm actually a freelance marketer. So I do marketing stuff, marketing management. That's my full time. Merch is my passive income now. I'm trying to get into books as well because it's a very similar business model as merch. It's just for books, and there's a higher down payment on those to get in, but I still see it as the same process, and I know Amazon pretty well, so that might be the next venture. I also have a passion project called corporate2coconuts.com, and it's kind of similar to this. It's just basically documenting the stories of people that went from corporate life and then hated it and then said, okay, let me try to get to the coconut side where they're, on the beach in Thailand or Mexico, wherever you want to be, and working online. And so over my travels of 2 years, I've met some really cool people, and just trying to upload those stories and inspire that kid that was, 20, 22 back in the day, who I was, trying to find those younger kids making it and being digital nomads. And you don't really see a lot of that. And I just don't want to weave through all that junk on hyped up YouTubers and stuff.
Yeah, no, genuinely, like you're saying, like the you that was back at the Millionaire Fastlane forum searching through for business ideas. And I mean, being honest, like this podcast is about honest and transparent conversations. There's no big, like we're saying here, slimy sales thing trying to pitch you some big course or some big, you know what I mean? Something that's going to buy this thing and it gives you. Not at all, man. That's not me. And if you ever met me, believe me, that's definitely not me. Like I'm not, like, it's just not my cup of tea. I'd be the first person to call BS on any of that sort of stuff. Like look, just trying to be honest. I'm exploring different business models, different ways people can get into building an online business, how they can get into freelancing. I'm genuinely interested in it. I've tried and failed at a number of different online ventures. Like I guess that's it, and it's good to hear that you're doing. It is hard. It's definitely it's hard, especially when I guess
there's no roadmap or anything.
Yeah, well,
Sometimes.
there's no roadmap. There's definitely not no roadmap. I mean, you can follow courses. Like right now, I'm doing authorityhacker.com because I'm interested in building authority websites. I like the guys; they're super honest. They do really technical SEO stuff, which I like. Weirdly, that's what I'm into. But like that, so I'm doing their course and I'm following them, and because I trust what they say, and I've seen they do case studies and it's legit and everything else. But like, so I found people whose course I'll follow and I'll do it. And I think it is important to maybe, if you do pick a course, to stick at it. Like, don't go from building, like, I mean, don't build a blog about blogging because that's just a terrible idea, but like, which is a little bit what this is about, but like, it's also about documenting stories and sharing other people's journeys. But like, get niche. Like, if you're going to do Amazon affiliate websites, stick at it. Don't go switching to drop shipping 2 months in. Don't go ship, from drop shipping to something else. Try to stay part of the course, but also, I mean, there's a lot to be said for freelance and offering a service, because I mean, essentially, if you need to make money, you gotta exchange something. And if you want to build a dropshipping business or an authority site or a merchant by Amazon, and you need money for it, and you have skills that you can offer, that's where you can freelance. And that's why I talk with freelancers, because I'm totally all for that. And it's a great way to build up your revenue and to allow you to travel. And it's how I got started as a freelance writer. So
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, it's really hard to make it as a digital nomad, and so I know the struggles. Like those 6 months of like my friends and family just putting a whole bunch of pressure on me, and like me putting a whole bunch of pressure on me. I wish I could erase that and just skip straight to where I am now. And so that's really the motivating factor of like why I want to help other people keep this lifestyle sustainable, because it's a struggle for myself as well. Like I'm sure every single digital nomad is always consistently thinking of like, how can I keep this dream alive? And that's the beauty of going to Chiang Mai, because you skip all of that cloudiness on YouTube or on the internet, and you just get the real people and actually get to see what they're doing and living their lifestyle.
yeah, that's it. And look, it's not for everyone as well to be in, like, let's say in Thailand or Bali. I live in Ireland. The last guest I interviewed is remote in Ireland. My last other two guests were remote in Spain. So like, you are in Texas at the minute, are you?
Uh-huh. Yep, it's fishing
Yeah. So
season, so
yeah,
gotta
it's
reach back
fishing
out.
season, so you're back in Texas, but it's like, it's not, I guess I just want to kind of have, like, because my disclaimer is always, it's not all about that side of things as well. It is about, you can do it in cities, you can live wherever, essentially, you're trying to build something that you can live wherever you want. You know what I mean? That, for me, it's the freedom that's the most important thing, in my opinion, anyway. Like that's what I think, like, that it allows you to do it. So I guess just kind of, coming towards the end of the episode now, if you were to give some advice or tips for somebody who was looking to get started, be it in merch by Amazon or as a freelance marketer, as you've said, like, what would be your tips, if, for those people who are interested in creating a digital nomad lifestyle?
Yeah, so my method was a little bit more unconventional of I really quit my job and didn't have, a good transition afterwards. Um, so I kind of side on the side of, do quit your job and then focus on one thing as hard as you can until you make it. It wasn't until I was working those 40-hour weeks for merch that I started seeing real money, and like more money that I was making at my last job. Um, and it's following those courses, or like those people that you want to be. If you want to be an NBA player, you go and take an NBA camp. If you want to be a millionaire, follow someone that's already gone through the trenches. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's just like seeing what other people have done, saying, hey, I can do that too. Let me see what they're doing a little different, and then let me modify it to make it my own personal style. So it's really just going in and putting your head down and starting and just going, and that's the key.
That's awesome. And I guess, just I guess, to side on that, you did have the ability to stay, to move in with your parents and that, did you, at that time? So you were able to like hunker down, focus on, but like you were okay. You weren't away in, let's say, in a foreign country or.
Yeah, so after Thailand, I did like a month over there, moved back home, and I was bouncing back and forth between Canada, but I was basically bootstrapping in Texas, and so it's making sure that you have all your finances in check too. Like, are you able to do this? I only had a couple $1,000s to my name, so I couldn't buy that crate from China. So this business model really just kind of aligned with me, because it's the cheapest business model to get into, and you don't have to put in a lot of effort, as other business models. And so I think it still is the number one beginner business model in the digital world right now.
Hopefully this episode has inspired somebody to take action and consider Merchant by Amazon and look into it. Thank you very much for coming on, RJ. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Where can people find you on the internet if they wanted to reach out and get in touch?
Yeah, so I am most active on Instagram. It is at rj.mac, rj.mac. And if you want more information on Merch by Amazon, I have a Facebook page called Merch by Amazon Lifestyle. And then coming soon is corporate2coconuts.com for my passion project of like stories kind of like this.
Thanks very much. And thanks to all the listeners for tuning in.
Thank you guys. It was awesome.
Thank you for listening to the Digital Nomad Cafe podcast. Head over to the website to access the resources and links mentioned in today's episode at digitalnomadcafe.com.